Hello, Jason here again with another video discussing how the social media is and regular media is censoring information about transgender issues, specifically gender affirmation, surgeries on kids, and gender issues being taught to kids in schools, transgender bathrooms, or transgenders being able to choose whichever bathroom they want. All these issues, sports, they're all just, if you mention them, you're censored by the internet, or you're canceled, or you're fired and losing your job. Let me just show you an example. I was researching to write this article, and one of the articles was from the Daily Wire, and Google's algorithm had it censored, and it wasn't put at the top of the screen. So I had to research it on Firefox through DuckDuckGo, and it was right on the top, which was kind of weird. I finished writing this article, and then it's here. It's called The Insanity of Gender Affirmation. It already got censored off the internet in 4 days from this website, medium.com. I only made this account. Look, I don't even have an about. If anything, I literally just made this account to write this article, and it already got taken off in 4 days because I don't have anywhere else to write articles, apparently, unless I make my own URL or something. I don't know. So, yeah. So anyways, that got taken off, and then they sent me an email this morning, from the Medium support team. Says your account on Medium. Hello, I'm writing in regards to your post on Medium.com. We have determined that your post is in violation of our rules. And then it says that my article apparently contains something within all this stuff, hateful content, which I don't think my article has. We do not allow content that constitutes or promotes violence, harassment, or hatred against people based on characteristics like race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, caste, disability, disease, age, sexual orientation, gender, or gender identity. We do not allow posts or accounts that glorify, celebrate, downplay, or trivialize violence, suffering, abuse, or deaths of individuals or groups. This includes the use of scientific or pseudoscientific claims or misleading statistics to pathologize, dehumanize, or disempower others. We do not allow calls for intolerance, exclusion, or segregation based on protected characteristics, nor do we allow the glorification of groups which do any of the above. We do not allow hateful text, images, symbols, or other content, including in your username, profile, or bio. It is now suspended. So serious. My article is now suspended, I guess. Or my account, I don't. Repeated violation of our rules may result in additional suspensions, decreased distribution of your posts, and potential suspension of your account. Thanks, Trusted Safety. So that's what they sent this morning. I don't think my article has any hate like this. This is just a very outrageous claim to me, to say that my article, as if I actually am, telling people to go and hate transgenders, and that, I look like I have a bias towards them, but not that I hate them. I just look like an angry parent who has a kid and is worried about my kid being brainwashed at school or in the media, or, people around her telling her that she should be a boy, and then her getting confused because she's only 5 years old, and I don't know. So, anyways, that's what they sent. I'll go from Firefox. And here's the article. It says it's an 8-minute read. So I'll read it here, just so then, now I have it on the internet one more time. 9-minute read, sorry. Here's the article. The Insanity of Gender Affirmation, Dogmatic Beliefs of the Radical Left, and error 410. This post is under investigation or was found in violation of the Medium rules. See, what? But then I tell you, there are thousands of stories to read on Medium. I can go and visit their homepage to find out what's right for me. Because my article I wrote already wasn't good enough, apparently, for myself. I don't even know. I can't even believe that I can't talk about this stuff. This is ridiculous. I've never been canceled like this from something, especially not my, I read an article on the internet, and this is what happens. It's my first article I ever actually wrote myself and put on the internet just from something, not just on some website or something. Well, it's kind of a website, but it's like it helps you publish your own stuff. I thought it was going to be cool. I was all into it. But look, I can go back here into his account. Okay, so now I can read it from here because it's my account and they want me to edit the article, I think. Okay, dogmatic. It sounds like this whole thing is completely accurate. You can listen at the end of it and you can hear how I talk about them censoring you if you try to even talk about it, just like they are right now. Dogmatic beliefs. That is dogmatic, by the way. That's the definition. Dogmatic beliefs of the radical left and the potential dangers of transgender ideology in society. What is a woman? That appears to be the question that the people who support this gender affirmation viewpoint cannot answer. It's a very simple question. In fact, a woman is nothing more than an adult human female, but these people in the LGBTQ community, as well as the people they have influenced in the media and the left-wing government, want you to believe that gender is a spectrum and a social construct. It exists in the mind and is how an individual identifies themselves with their own sexuality. Because of this, they claim that there is a difference between sex and gender. This leads to all kinds of confusion, including how to define a woman when asked. There are many problems that have arose from this mode of thinking. Kids being born with no sex assigned, kids being taught in school about gender identity at a young age, adult males who claim they identify as women using the same bathrooms as biological females and leading to abuse. Trans women who are biological males dominating women's sports, and complications from gender reassignment surgeries. In case you were unaware, children as young as 8 years old are being told they can be the other gender if they want. When they reach puberty, they give them hormones and hormone blockers that mess with their bodies. Then when they are 18, they can do surgeries and skin grafts to make a penis or a vagina. But what's worse is that the parents are supportive of these decisions and let the children decide for themselves whether they should risk ruining their lives at a young age. In some countries, like Scotland, for example, children as young as 4 years old can make the decision to start transitioning without parental consent. This has become such a hot topic in this country that you are not even allowed to question it, which is why we are going to look at this subject. We're going to look at this subject matter a little closer and discuss some of the problems with this set of radical beliefs that has the potential to affect our lives so personally. Sex is your biology, and it involves the sexual organs, your chromosomes, your bone structure, as well as your hormones. It can be seen all the way down to your DNA. Gender is a personal choice you make in your own mind and how you act and express yourself. This is what they claim. However, they don't follow their own ideologies and oftentimes contradict themselves. If the prior statement is true, and in fact what they believe in, then how do they make the claim that some men who are trans women and have transitioned already are literally a female, despite the fact that they will never be able to have children? If they died and were buried, then dug up hundreds of years later, forensic science would determine the body to be male, despite the best efforts of the person during their life. They said it's a social construct, but they're posing with pictures that say gender is over. In fact, there's now an option for newborns on birth certificates to have where it says sex to be answered with the statement unknown, so they can decide for themselves when they get older what their sex is. What? Were they born with no sexual organs? I don't get it. I thought gender and sex were different, that you can be born a biological male and identify as a woman. But that's not what they are acting like. They're trying to make it a fact that these trans women are really women, but they're not. No matter how hard they try, they will never be female. They can identify as a woman all they want, It does not change their biology. But it seems like they cannot accept this fact, so they need to silence anyone who speaks out against it, censor the media, and continue to spin these facts that apparently everyone believes in. They just can't seem to let it go. If you disagree, you will be fired or canceled and labeled a bigot. To me, it seems obvious that they have no real argument, but it doesn't stop the increasing amount of people who have lost their jobs just for publicly stating that a transgender woman is not really a biological female. There are too many potential dangers that come along with allowing this dogmatic ideology to exist or go unchecked. For one, it involves the innocence of children. They do not have enough of an understanding of life to properly navigate the situation, and they're teaching them this in school, where they should be learning math, science, and history. Parents are not okay with this going on in our schools. Anything involving our children's lives in such a permanent and impactful way is much too important for anyone other than the parents to teach them, just because of the fact that they can never know what they are going to think or feel when they get older, just like the rest of us, should be enough of a reason to stop legally allowing this to continue. These procedures are irreversible, and if they change their minds later on down the road, they can't take it back. It is so pathetic and unforgivable to potentially ruin the lives of so many people because of a sexual orientation and gender identity that exists in less than 1% of the population. Should we really change the entire language to cater to this small minority? There are people who exist in the world that are born missing a limb or an appendage, or maybe have an extra one. Because of this rare mutation, we do not write in the biology books that people are born with one arm, 2 arms, or any number of arms and fingers. They all exist. No, we say that humans have 2 arms, 2 legs, 10 fingers, and 10 toes. Anything else is a mutation, an outlier. Secondly, there's the situation with the bathrooms. Parents are already outraged that a man can just say that they are a woman, even if you don't know their intentions. And we are to just believe them without question for fear that we might offend them. This is a huge problem. Anyone can just lie about it if they really wanted to, including pedophiles. It is estimated that around 3% of the population are pedophiles, about 5% of men. Are we to believe that it should be okay for men to just claim that they are women when it is statistically more likely that they are into pedophilia rather than actually being transsexual and identifying as a woman? This is a very serious and very real concern for many parents. There are concerns from biological women as well over transgender bathroom issues. Men dressed in drag or who claim to identify as women have been caught videotaping women in stalls. In some instances, it went well beyond the realm of voyeurism and actually led to assault. Finally, sports are being greatly affected in a negative way as well. People who are born biological males should not be allowed to play sports with biological females just because they identify as a girl or a woman. Like it was said earlier, they claim there is a difference between gender and sex. Sex is biology. Therefore, if you were born a biological male, even if you identify as a woman, you will always be a biological male, and no amount of language can change that. So, it is unfair to the women of these sports and the girls in schools to just allow these biological males to blatantly dominate their respective sports, when, according to their own doctrine of beliefs, is not right or accurate to do so. Women MMA fighters, for example, now have to have unfair matches against men who identify as women, even though they have genetically different bone and muscle structures and are stronger. One woman got a fractured skull from her opponent who was biologically male. In a recent analysis, it was found that more than 20 women's sports titles were taken by biological males in the last 5 years alone. And that's just first-place titles. A majority of people don't agree with letting biological men in women's sports either. even ones who support transgender rights, but they are being seen as transphobic, even if they are not, and the sports organizations continue to allow it anyways. But we're afraid to offend these people, and there is a lot of money in the counseling of young kids that are now confused and the medications used to chemically castrate males or block hormones of children. If these risks and dangers are not high enough for you or spelled out clearly enough for you to understand that this should stop immediately, then there's no hope for you, and you're probably part of the problem, blindly allowing your kids to dictate life-changing decisions when you're the parent. They trust you to use your wisdom and knowledge to raise and protect them, not ruin their lives. Even if it's their decision, it's your fault. Recently, Matt Walsh's movie, What is a Woman, came out on the Daily Wire. It's already been taken off YouTube. If you haven't seen it, you should try to ASAP. It's important to be educated about both sides of this argument so you can decide for yourself if your children should be taught about gender identities in school, or if the whole thing is a manipulative ploy to make millions of dollars for the pharmaceutical companies that bank on the fact that gender transitions require extensive drugs and hormones, let alone the surgeries, not to mention a high risk of emotional trauma or physical abnormalities that can lead to life-threatening infections. But you won't be told about any of that. In fact, you'll be told that this information is a lie and not true, despite the fact that people have literally gone through it and made the mistake of transitioning when they were too young, and now, as adults, they regret their decisions and can't take it back. Most wish they never went through with it, and many become suicidal later in life. But let's not talk about that one either. In the movie, it is very clear that they do not have any legitimate arguments, and they are going to stubbornly continue to spread these beliefs and taint our children with their lies. The movie is extremely disturbing and very relevant to our lives, but at the same time, very entertaining and well done. It may be one of the most important documentaries of our time. Matt Walsh, thank you for the time and effort you put into making What is a Woman and accepting the risk to yourself that you now endure, as well as all the unjustified hate that people in the LGBTQ community probably throw your way. It is reassuring to see that somebody had the guts to challenge these people and their ideas. What the people on the right should do is just let them have the words man and woman, the ones they can't seem to define and constantly leave vague. Then we on the other side can use the words male and female to exclusively mean their born biological sex, with a very simple and clear-cut definition for each. Then, no matter how much they claim they are women, it won't matter. By definition, they will not actually be females because of their born sex. Therefore, they can't argue with the biology because there is a definitive answer for what sex somebody is, but what gender you are will forever be vague and indefinable. However, the people on the far left will probably still deny the existence of real women and continue to push the lies and ideologies of the transgender community. We need to work together to stop the spread of this manipulative propaganda and see it for what it really is. Don't let your kids listen to this garbage. Take control and take action. Educate your children yourself when the time is right. We cannot allow this to continue or get worse. It must end now, and we must fight back against it with logic and truth. We need to expose the fallacy. There shouldn't be a concern that my 5-year-old daughter is going to be brainwashed with harmful ideologies that lead her to butchering herself up to become a male. All because somebody confused her into thinking that's what she wants, because she doesn't understand or know any better with her developing mind. As if you just explained to her what God is and that now she must choose a religion. It's way beyond her. Science should be taught to our children, not indoctrinating them with egotistical self-delusions and skewed versions of reality. And that is it. It is the whole article. I guess I can understand a few points where I sound mad and kind of accusational and saying that you're just as much part of the problem if you believe in these things and spread it to your children. But there's nothing I said in there that was wrong. Most of it's all pretty spot on. Just laying out facts and my concerns for truth and the things that are clearly censored in the media. I didn't click on all the links, but if you clicked on all the links that are in the article, you would probably be more mad than I am, because I'm a pretty peaceful person. I'm willing to believe that somebody actually read all those articles. They'd be pretty enraged, because I was pretty affected by it. There's like 27 sources on that article, so yeah, I don't know. Contact me. I'll send you the PDF link. All right.